Black Hollow, a name whispered, never spoken aloud. A forgotten town, nestled deep within a valley perpetually shrouded in mist. Ancient trees, gnarled and twisted, clawed at the sky. Their branches, bare and skeletal, seemed to reach out towards the town like grasping claws. At the edge of this forsaken place stood the manor, imposing, forbidding, its silhouette a jagged scar against the overcast sky. The manor was known as Whispering Pines, a cruel irony given its true nature. Locals spoke of it in hushed tones, their eyes wide with terror. They told tales of shadows that danced within, of whispers that chilled the soul. Stories passed down through generations, each more unsettling than the last. The manor stood as a testament to a dark and troubled past. Its windows, like vacant eyes, stared out blankly. The stone walls, weathered and aged, held secrets. Secrets that whispered on the wind, secrets that yearned to be unveiled. Elias Thorne, a writer grappling with writer's block, sought refuge in the solitude of Black Hollow. Drawn to the macabre, he had heard the whispers, the rumours of Whispering Pines. He dismissed them as mere folklore, mere superstition. He craved inspiration, a spark to ignite his dormant imagination.
Turn back, sir. The manor. It's not safe. The darkness, it clings to that place. There are souls trapped within its walls.
But Elias, blinded by his ambition, ignored their pleas. He saw only a story waiting to be told, a masterpiece waiting to be written. A cold wind whipped at his coat as he approached the manor. The iron gates creaked open as if in warning. He stepped onto the overgrown path, each footstep a heavy thud against the silence. The air grew colder, the atmosphere heavier, as he drew closer to the imposing structure. Elias, undeterred, felt a thrill course through his veins. The manor, with its brooding presence and air of melancholy, was the perfect setting for his next novel. He smiled, a sense of morbid anticipation settling in his gut. He had found his muse. The interior of the manor was dark and oppressive. Shadows clung to every corner, and the air felt thick, almost tangible, as if the house itself was alive and breathing. Dust motes danced in the faint rays of sunlight that pierced through the grimy windows. Each particle seemed to tell a story of neglect and time, floating aimlessly in the still air. The air hung heavy, thick with the scent of decay and the weight of forgotten memories. It was as if the walls themselves were whispering tales of sorrow and loss. Elias explored each room, his footsteps echoing in the silence. Every creak of the floorboards seemed to amplify the emptiness around him, a stark reminder of the manor's desolation.
Elias, leave this place. Danger lurks. The voice was faint, almost a breath against his ear, sending shivers down his spine.
As he ventured deeper into the manor, he noticed the whispers, soft at first, barely audible murmurs that seemed to emanate from the walls themselves. They were like the house's breath, a constant, eerie presence. They grew louder, more insistent as he moved from room to room. Each step he took seemed to draw the whispers closer, wrapping around him like a shroud. The whispers seemed to swirl around him, whispering his name, warning him of unseen dangers. They were relentless, a cacophony of voices that filled his mind. Shadows danced at the edge of his vision, flickering movements that vanished when he turned to face them. It was as if the shadows themselves were alive, playing a cruel game of hide and seek. His heart pounded in his chest, a drumbeat of fear against his ribs. Each thud echoed in his ears, a reminder of his growing terror. Yet a part of him, a dark and curious part, urged him forward. It was as if the manor itself was calling to him, drawing him deeper into its embrace. He discovered a library, its shelves lined with leather-bound volumes. The books seemed ancient, their spines cracked and worn, each one a relic of a forgotten time. The air here was thick with the smell of aging paper and dust. It was a scent that spoke of years of neglect, of stories left unread and knowledge forgotten. As he ran his fingers along the spines of the books, he felt a cold spot on his hand. It was a chill that seemed to seep into his very soul, a touch of the supernatural, a chill that spread through his body, settling deep in his bones. It was as if the manor itself was warning him, urging him to leave while he still could.
Beware! The secrets! They consume... The voice was more distinct now, filled with a sense of urgency and dread.
The whispers grew louder still, echoing through the empty halls as Elias stood frozen, the weight of the manor's secrets pressing down on him. He could feel the presence of something ancient and malevolent, watching him, waiting for him to uncover the truth. Section 4. The Secrets Within. This chapter delves into the mysteries that have long been buried within the walls of the old manor. The secrets that have been hidden for generations are about to be uncovered. The whispers led him to a hidden door, concealed behind a tapestry. It was as if the house itself was guiding him, urging him to uncover what lay beyond.
I can feel it, the outline of the door. It's almost as if it's calling to me, begging to be opened.
He traced the outline of the door with his fingers, feeling the cold stone beneath his touch. The sensation sent shivers down his spine, a mix of anticipation and dread.
Here goes nothing. I have to know what's behind this door. I have to uncover the truth.
With a grunt, he pushed the door open. The ancient hinges groaned in protest, as if they hadn't been moved in centuries. It creaked open, revealing a narrow staircase leading down into darkness. The air was thick with dust and the scent of decay. The air in the hidden room was stale, suffocating. It felt as though the room had been sealed off from the world for an eternity. A single, flickering candle illuminated a dusty table piled high with old books and papers. The dim light cast eerie shadows on the walls, adding to the room's ominous atmosphere.
This place is like stepping back in time. Every corner of this room holds a piece of history, a fragment of a story long forgotten.
Elias stepped inside, his heart pounding in his chest. The weight of the secrets within these walls pressed down on him, making it hard to breathe. He ran his fingers over the brittle pages of a leather-bound journal, its yellowed pages filled with frantic, spidery handwriting. Each word seemed to pulse with a life of its own, telling a story of fear and desperation. The journal belonged to the former owner of the manor, a man named Silas Blackwood. His name was etched into the leather cover, a testament to the weight of his legacy.
Silas Blackwood, what secrets did you hide? What drove you to madness?
Elias read entries detailing strange occurrences, shadowy figures, and whispers that drove him to madness. Each entry was more disturbing than the last, painting a picture of a man haunted by unseen forces. Silas wrote of a hidden room, a room where he had unleashed something dark and sinister. The very thought of it sent chills down Elias's spine. As Elias read, he felt a presence behind him. The hairs on the back of his neck stood up, and a cold sweat broke out on his forehead. He turned, his blood running cold. The room seemed to close in around him, the shadows growing darker and more menacing.
Who's there? Show yourself.
A shadowy figure stood in the doorway, its eyes glowing with an eerie light. The figure seemed to pulse with a malevolent energy, its presence filling the room with dread. It lunged at him, its cold skeletal fingers reaching for his throat. The touch was like ice, sending a jolt of terror through Elias's body.
You shouldn't be here. This place is cursed, and now so are you.
Section 5. Trapped by Shadows. This chapter delves into the eerie and unsettling experiences of Elias, a man caught in a web of darkness and fear. Elias stumbled back, his foot catching on a loose floorboard. The sudden jolt sent a shiver down his spine, as if the house itself was conspiring against him. He fell, the journal slipping from his grasp as he hit the ground. The pages fluttered open, revealing cryptic symbols and ominous drawings. The shadowy figure advanced, its form shifting and flickering in the dim candlelight. It seemed to absorb the light, growing darker and more menacing with each step.
No! Stay back! Elias's voice trembled, his heart pounding in his chest. He could feel the cold sweat trickling down his back.
It hovered over him, its whispers filling his ears, a cacophony of despair and rage. The words were unintelligible. Yet they pierced his mind like daggers. Panic surged through him. He scrambled back, his hands scraping against the cold stone floor. The rough texture tore at his skin, leaving bloody streaks. He could feel the heat of the shadowy figure's presence, smell the stench of decay that clung to it. The odor was overpowering, making him gag.
This can't be real. It can't be! Elias's voice was barely a whisper, his mind struggling to comprehend the nightmare unfolding before him.
It was as if the darkness itself had taken form, and it was coming for him. The shadows seemed to pulse with a life of their own, reaching out with tendrils of blackness. He heard a crackle, felt a wave of heat wash over him. The air grew thick with smoke, making it hard to breathe. The candle on the table flickered and died, plunging the room into darkness. The sudden loss of light made the shadows seem even more oppressive.
No, not now! Elias's desperation echoed through the room, his voice raw with fear.
He cried out, his voice echoing in the confines of the hidden room. He was trapped, alone in the darkness with the shadows. The walls seemed to close in, suffocating him. Then a new horror. The smell of smoke, acrid and biting, filled the air. It was a stark reminder of the danger he was in. He heard the roar of flames, felt the heat licking at his skin. The manor was on fire. The flames danced wildly, consuming everything in their path.
I have to get out of here. But how? Elias's mind raced, searching for an escape. The shadows and flames seemed to conspire against him, leaving him with no clear path to safety.